Hello and welcome to Odds on Champions League match day 3. We are back to analyze our favorite competition games on Tuesday this time, and we have some great games: Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, PSG, or Villarreal, Man City, for instance, in this video. And we have Leo Bachanian. Hello, Leo. We have Alain Valnegri. Hello, Alain, to give you the best tips, the best information about this new match day in Europe. So, of course, let us know in the comments which teams are you backing, and press the like, subscribe, show us some love to our channel. And now let's go on with the show. And the first stop is going to be in Barcelona. Early kickoff in Montjuic, Barcelona, Olympiacos. Barcelona are going to play El Clásico next weekend and are suffering a little bit in the last games. They have to wait until the last minute to find the way through the victory against Girona. Was Araujo playing as a number 9. We saw Flick very nervous after the defeats against PSG and Sevilla with Lewandowski out. Something is not clicking at Barcelona. Last season was a shitty November. This season is a struggling October, and now they have the visit of Olympiacos. 1 point only in this Champions League. The draw at home against Pafos, a game that they should have won, by the way. So Barcelona, super favorite, Alain Valnegri, to find the second win in this Champions League. Remember that they beat Newcastle in match day 1.
Yes, the last 3 games are negative for Barca, against PSG, against especially in Sevilla, and now against Girona. They suffer a lot to win this game. They concede a lot. They concede so many transition. Flick, in my opinion, Barcelona miss Íñigo Martínez in the defensive line, because he had that leadership to lead the team, and he had that management to move the defensive line. And without him, we saw a Barca received more goals. We saw a Barca concede more occasion to the rival. Now Flick, the second season of Flick, I am curious about this, because he started with some injury, and I think they lose a little the happiness about the arrival of the German manager. And this game is not so important, because everybody will be thinking about Sunday and the Clásico, because the Clásico can change a lot of things in the season of Barcelona, the beginning of season of Barcelona. Because if you lose in Madrid, the feeling can be pretty bad at the beginning, since the beginning of the season. If you win in Madrid, you start your season, because all the limit the team show in the last 3 months will be stay behind. And against this Olympiacos, which will be the grade of concentration of the team for this game. Olympiacos is not in a very good moment. Olympiacos is second in his league. They lose the big match against PAOK. Good reaction in the last weekend in Larissa, but Olympiacos still have some limit, no? And especially when there must to defend, the team don't have the habit to defend. But in Barcelona, there will be found a team concede space. Olympiacos is a team feel really comfortable when they can play direct football. For that reason, I choose both teams to score. Odds 1.98.
With Barcelona having problems in the back, indeed, they are conceding goals in almost every game. Leo, what is your take?
Well, I don't think that that because PSG exposed Barcelona on match day 2, for instance, in this Champions League, that now everyone should have the feeling of, okay, we could do it too. Uh, I think that, for example, Olympiacos will be having much more value in watching Sevilla defeating Barca, because that win was based in order and taking the game into Barca's half. Especially, I remember on that first half on Matias Almeida's side, which they were very brave. Will Mendilibar take a similar approach? Well, I don't know. Of course, he doesn't have the technical quality of PSG, but they're a good team. I mean, I was at the Emirates with in the defeat with Arsenal, and I think they had a decent performance. They forced David Raya to make two incredible saves, and both came with the game 1-0, so things could have changed probably on that game. I'm surprised that we don't see, or we don't hear at least, in the top 5 leagues in Europe, clubs going for 𝗀𝗵𝗄. To be honest, it was the first time I've seen him live against Arsenal, and he's such a clever center forward. I mean, the downside for the Greek side was that they suffered to build from the back under pressure from Arsenal, and well, that could happen again with the Barca, because we know, yes, Barca, they push forward, they press very high, so we're gonna see how Olympiacos could deal with that. The biggest problem for Barca at the moment is, anyway, it's not Olympiacos, are the injuries, which are piling. Dani Olmo, Lewandowski, Rafinha, Joan Garcia, Fermin Lopez played on the weekend, but he's having some fitness issues. Ferran Torres had some muscular problems with Spain. Lamine played 65 minutes against Girona. He left the pitch when the game was still 1-1. I remember in the summer when Barcelona was missing out of those 100 millions of the Club World Cup, that they were saying, well, at least we're going to have the chance of resting everyone during summer, which is going to ensure that everyone will be fresher to face the season and avoid injuries. Well, that did not go according to plan. But still, whoever plays Flick, and of course with the mind on Sunday for the Clásico, Barca should still have enough in their side to win this game, especially against a side that have lost 11 away games in the Champions League. My take here: goals over 3.5, odds of 2.
Goals and goals. For this one, both teams to score is a really nice take. David is telling us 𝗀𝗵𝗄𝗃 Barcelona over 1.5 goals. Hello, David from Liberia. George Weah, what a legend in African and in world football. George Weah. And also early kickoff. This is coffee for the coffee lovers. Kairat Pafos. Here is important. At the beginning of the season, we spoke about the odds to be last in this group stage in the Champions League. Of course, two candidates to finish last, but Pafos got a point against Olympiacos, surprising one, thrashed by Bayern in Cyprus. Only one defeat. They are topping the table. And Kairat, Leo, they have not competed in this Champions League after knocking out Celtic in summer. 0 points, thrashed by Sporting and Real Madrid. Very little things, positive little things we can say about Kairat so far in this Champions League.
Yes, but they're still chasing the chance of becoming the first Kazakh team to win a game in the Champions League, and this is their chance for them, to be honest, probably the biggest one. But at the same time, Pafos also never won a Champions League game, and if they do, they're going to become the first team from Cyprus to get the 3 points since Apoel in 2011. Is for both of them the biggest opportunity to add 3 points. Kairat have conceded 9 goals and scored 1. Pafos had a good debut there in Athens with the draw against Olympiacos, which you guys mentioned, but they had nothing to do against Bayern in Matchday 2. Juan Carlos Carcedo said that their team are the Cinderella of the competitions, but Kairat see themselves as Cinderellas too. So basically, you know the meme of the two Spider-Man pointing to each other, but the same as we choose Cinderellas for instance. For Kairat, the defeats with the Sporting and Real Madrid are the only 2 defeats for them in the last 5 games in all competitions. For Pafos, it's a similar story, with their only defeat lately being the one on match day 2. Kairat, at least with Madrid, they managed for 55 minutes, I think, to keep the game on, with the game being 1-0 for that amount of time. But when Mbappe scored the second one, of course, game over. They could have scored after 10 seconds when the game started. They have a very good chance starting from midfield. And what I didn't like about Pafos is how casual they were anyway against Bayern Munich. If you look at the 4th goal, the one from Harry Kane, everyone is looking at him, no attempt to tackle, too simple, to be honest. I don't know, it's difficult for me to see here X1 or X2. My take is both teams to score, no. Odds of 1.95.
We have Nosa telling us Kairat Asian handicap +1. The smart bet, Alain, the Oddspedia AI, is leaning towards Pafos. Double chance for Pafos. We can see it there. Is the tip. What do you think?
But Pafos has more experience. When we saw the squad, about the team, some player have experience to play in Champions League, and that one can make the difference. After the first 2 games, I think the Cinderella is more Kairat Almaty than Pafos, because Pafos in Olympiacos do a really serious game, and Pafos is really comfortable when they must to defend, and can change his scheme, his model of play, because in his league is a dominant team with a really high average of goal score. But when they're played in Europe, if we analyze the playoff and the third round and the second round, in every game Pafos were really serious, and I was surprised about the game against Bayern Munich. Is probably the worst game of Pafos since months. And right now, in my opinion, the odds are a little unbalanced. X2 for me is a safe bet, and we can take the victory of Pafos because the odds are really high. But in spite of that, the only X of the week, I choose draw in this game, odds 3.42.
Yeah, the bookies are going also for the draw, so it's not bad. Pathfinder, Kairat to score over 0.5 goals, so Kairat to score Kairat. But yeah, the bookies are going towards the draw. And one of the most interesting games we have in this match day 3 is Arsenal Atletico de Madrid. Arsenal opening the gap in the Premier League, and spectacular, but they are winning and winning low scoring games without conceding, clean sheets, beat Fulham. So it's 3 consecutive wins, 2-0, and perhaps once upon a time, no, they would look themselves in the mirror facing Atletico de Madrid, although it's not the case anymore because this Atletico de Madrid concede much more goals. But we saw a very boring game against Osasuna, and Atletico already lost in England in this Champions League in Liverpool, and we are seeing at this stage of the season a stronger Arsenal than Liverpool, Alain. So I wouldn't be very optimistic if I'm Atletico de Madrid fan in this trip to London.
Yes, for both is a good test for Arsenal to play against a team with that character of Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid improved in the last weeks after the game in Liverpool. We saw a different Atletico Madrid. We saw Julian Alvarez playing a really high level. We saw Atletico really with high score average against Real Madrid, against Eintracht the Frankfurt. We saw a good version of Atletico Madrid, and in Vigo, the team deserves something more. And yes, I think the season of Atletico Madrid started, and we understand with the details against Osasuna, because it was a difficult game. He put 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀 score is another good news for Simeone, and after 𝗀𝗵𝗿 made the save to win the game. And yes, the squad of Atletico Madrid is impressive. Not a lot of people speak about the quality and the deepness, and Simeone have a really good squad, and it's a very good test to go, in my opinion, to play against the most difficult team to play right now in Europe is Arsenal. Arteta stay and keep the philosophy of the football of Arsenal, but he gives something necessary at that level to be competitive and to know to win 1-0 the game. And yes, the block is not the defense line, the defensive line. The block in Arsenal are run really well. And we saw Arteta make turnover. Arteta have some injured player, but he's always find solution. And the game in Fulham is, I think, is a good illustration about that one, because we saw a team found some difficulties to in the first half against a team who make you feel uncomfortable. Fulham don't play really well, but make you feel uncomfortable. But Arsenal score at a key moment in the second half, and after their conserve, and that one is, in my opinion, a key for a winning team. And Arteta managed really well the pressure, because this season he have pressure. He must to win Premier League or Champions League. He can't hide more. And the step for to be a big team is this one, but he managed really well the first 3 months of the competition. In spite of that, I don't will be choose 1x2. I choose both teams to score odds 2.06.
Probably the pressure is on the Premier League, especially where they should deliver. We have David telling us Cholo loves a game like this one. Indeed, over 1.5 goals at Arsenal Atletico. I wouldn't expect a goal feast here. Leo, perhaps Arteta is the perfect replacement for Simeone at Atletico de Madrid. Arteta or Felipe Luis, no? Could be a good replacement. If Cholo, once upon a time, we see our eyes leaving Atletico de Madrid, of course.
Yes, and it's difficult to see when he's gonna take that decision, Cholo. But to be honest, I don't know why. I mean, here in England, they like to portray this Arsenal Atletico Madrid as a clash of styles, and it is not. The reality is that it is not a clash of styles with between Arteta and Simeone, or at least not this Arteta. The Arteta of the last 2 years, the Arteta of the first 3 seasons, or the Arsenal of that finished 2 points behind City probably was different. But I think Arteta, once he realized that, no, I'm not going to take this anymore of finishing 1-2 points behind Manchester City or whoever, he changed the style, and he decided that, okay, the most important thing is to win, and he became a manager who prefers to win 2-0 other than with flair. And actually, against Olympiacos on Matchday 2, Martinelli scored after 12 minutes only into the game. And I thought, okay, here we're going to be hitting into a thrashing for Arsenal. But the reality is that the second one came only on stoppage time through Bukayo Saka. And before that, when I mentioned before with Olympiacos, David Raya made amazing saves. And actually, Raya is, at the moment, one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. Is, I don't know, from outside it's difficult to understand how can Unai Simon is in front of him in the national team. But again, Arsenal show how powerful they are this season in terms of the squad they have. Saka, Rice, and Eze were all substitute in that game against Olympiacos. And they have won now 11 games in a row without conceding a goal at home in UEFA competitions, in group or league stage. And again, then on Saturday, they won 2-0 again, this case away from home, as Alain was saying, against Fulham. but I don't think that they're going to be able to hold that defensive work against Atletico. It's a completely different test. Liverpool can tell a thing or two. It's a shame that Odegaard is having such a bad luck with the injuries this season because he picked up the third one against West Ham before the international break. He was fantastic against Olympiacos, and he's going to be missed not only because of what he gives Arsenal with the ball, but against Olympiacos in the first half, Odegaard, he took possession back 7 times, more than anyone else. I'm saying this because sometimes that gets overlooked with him, and that's very important for Arteta. He's a beast trying to fight for the ball. So we're gonna have to see Trossard or 𝗀𝗵cie or Martinelli or whoever, or even Eze if he's the one to replace Odegaard, taking that part of the game, that physical part of the game, trying to press, trying to win the ball high as Odegaard does it. I think Atletico will surely look at the Haaland goal at the Emirates few weeks ago and think, okay, we should do the same, get the ball back quickly and run into space behind Arsenal's back line. Against Liverpool, that worked almost to perfection. Llorente, Julian, Nico Gonzalez will try to explode probably the back of Saliba and Gabriel. This time is going to be the most difficult test yet for Arsenal defense. Atletico can be powerful as well as set pieces, as Arsenal can be, of course. Scoring 5 against Eintracht, 5 against Real Madrid shows the capabilities of this team when they look forward. I had to check a few times when I saw that the odds on Atletico are on 6 and they are still at that high. 𝗀𝗵cie is still looking for a Champions League goal, but I will start Merino as a number 9 for this one. His intuition inside the box is amazing. He has 10 goals in 39 games for Spain. It's just incredible for a midfielder. With that in mind, with everything we said, I think, guys, of course, the 𝗀𝗵𝗄 return is amazing. Something little multiply 6 times is no little anymore. So I will have that again in mind. Double chance at 2.38 is also worth it. But otherwise, I'm going like Alain. Both teams to score, yes, odds of 2.05.
Well, the AI is telling us double chance for Atletico de Madrid, although the confidence rating is not the highest. Odds are 2.41. And we have some other comments telling us Arsenal score 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, the classic trademark win 2-0 for Arteta. I really like that. Actually, Arsenal defense is solid. I don't see Atletico de Madrid scoring 2 goals. Pathfinder is telling us Henry sees over 2.5 goals in this game. Well, this is also the group stage, so it's not that important, the game, although Atletico already have 1 defeat in this Champions League. Next one is Leverkusen PSG, another great game. Leverkusen really need the points because they drew the first 2 games against Copenhagen and PSV, teams that they should have beaten, but the team is slowly improving under 𝗀𝗵𝗄, especially in the Bundesliga, 3 consecutive wins, but now they have a tough rival with PSG dropping points in Ligue 1 with many absentees, Leo, but we know that when they are focused, as they were against Barcelona, even with a lot of absentees, can be any team. So that's why they are favorites here.
Yes, absolutely, Edu. And we saw that on Friday night with Strasbourg. That probably it felt like a win for them after being 3-1 down. Luis Enrique used a makeshift back 4 that night. On Matchday 2 against Barca, they should have won 4-5 or even 6-1 that night. In a game in which Luis Enrique started with Majulu, Zaire Emery, Mbaye, and nothing changed in terms of how they play. They are such a well-drilled team, PSG. They always seem to have a plan. It's fantastic. They have Desiree Doué back. He played on Friday. Of course, there is going to be a patch throughout the season in which the level is going to drop and maybe results too. But so far, so good, I would say, for PSG. They love to have the ball, and if there is no possible to have the ball as much as it happened with Barca, they will kill you with the runs of Nuno Mendes and 𝗀𝗵𝗄, and who want wingers when you have that kind of fullbacks. And for Leverkusen, if there is something that the season hasn't been for them, is smooth. But 𝘀𝗵𝗄 is still in the wheel. Matchday 2 with PSV was a missed opportunity for them. But the bigger picture is going to telling us that the win against Mainz on Saturday show us that they are now fifth in the table in the Bundesliga, just behind Champions League spots on goal difference, 8 games unbeaten with 𝘀𝗵𝗄, and they have done it without Patrick Schick, which is out injured. And you have to roll back the years to 2014 to find the Leverkusen manager not to lose any of his first 8 games in charge in all competitions. They are a young team, players like Kofane, 19 years old, the Cameroonian striker who scored against PSV, and he has now 2 goals in the last 2 games, scoring as well on the weekend. Tillman slowly showing glimpses of the form he had in PSV. This Leverkusen side can score, that is clear, but they need to work defensively. The one with Union Berlin before the break was the only clean sheet for them, with that new back three of 𝗀𝗵𝗄, Bade, and 𝘀𝗵𝗄. But then again, on the weekend with Mainz, they conceded 3 times. Yes, they won for 3, but they usually concede. That's why my take here is PSG to win, combined with goals over 1.5. These two together, odds of 1.96.
Also, Hillary is going for something similar. Akbare also, PSG to score and win comfortably here. Any concern for Luis Enrique, you think, Alain, after the 2 consecutive draws in Liga?
No, but sincerely, we wait some down, no? In the results, in the energy, in the last game, he made a lot of turnover. PSG, the secret of PSG last season was the midfield, and when the 2 Portuguese players with Fabian Ruiz doesn't play, the team change. We don't saw that in Barcelona, maybe, but in my opinion, when like against Strasbourg, there no one play because Vitinha stayed in the bench. We saw something losing, especially in the no possession phase, in the pressure, in the intelligence of the pressure. Because when you don't press well, this team, when the team don't press well, they'll concede a lot of pace. And 3 goals against Strasbourg at home is a lot of goals. And the management of the results in Lille, yes, the losing in Marseille. In the last 5, only 2 win. Yes, there won in Barcelona, but only 2 win. Now, for this game, Luis Enrique reserve some key player like 𝗀𝗵𝗄, like Vitinha, 𝗀𝗵𝗄 had minute. Yes, PSG is really favorite for this game against a Leverkusen change. Respect to the beginning of the season, we saw a best version of Leverkusen, and Leverkusen recovered his offensive mentality. The game against Mainz speak about that. Speak about the Leverkusen in the no possession ball is a team with a lot of limit right now, but in offensive way they have a lot of solution. For that reason, I choose the market of goals. Leverkusen PSG over 3.25 goals, odds 2.11.
Okay, goals in this game. PSG draw no bet, PSG to score in both halves, PSG double chance. So goals and PSG should be a good bet for this game. Next one is Copenhagen, Dortmund, the other German team traveling to Denmark. Dortmund, they had 2 tough games in the Bundesliga, and they couldn't win any of those games. Lost against Bayern 2-1. last weekend, and before the international break, drew with RB Leipzig in the Champions League. It's 4 points, and they are favorites to win here, but it's never easy to win at Copenhagen ground, or when Denmark is playing at home also in the Parken. And the other German team, Alain, Leverkusen, also couldn't beat Copenhagen in their stadium, although also Copenhagen showed in 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀 that they are nothing out of this world.
Yes, Copenhagen is in a bad moment because they lose the leadership in the last 3 games, no victory, only a draw. Nestrup is his worst moment with the team. There must to have a reaction. Sometimes we can ask about the grade of motivation in Superliga in Denmark. When do you have the Champions League? Because Champions League is a gift for this team. We saw the best version of Copenhagen in the last season was in Champions League, and right now it's difficult to understand the atmosphere in the vestry. Maybe it's the final of the cycle of Nestrup, because in the last game in 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀, we saw a really poor version of Copenhagen. Without idea, the team was not involved in the in no moment we saw a team with ambition, and a team with experience, because they had a lot of experienced player. Probably is the most experienced team Nestrup have to play in Champions League to be competitive. Is difficult to understand that type of things. It's not difficult to understand Dortmund. I think 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀 give back an identity and ambition in Dortmund. And in Bayern, in the last classic year, we saw a good version of Dortmund. There concede the possession to the Bayern, but it's really difficult to win the possession when they're played in Munich. But in transition, if the team was a little more accurate, they deserve to catch a draw in Bayern. And in the last season is terrific, the record of Dortmund in Bayern, and that one can give the grade of the competitivity of Dortmund when they play against Bayern away. And yes, I think they are in a good moment. In spite of that, in my opinion, the Parken is always difficult, and I choose Copenhagen winning with the handicap 0.25 odds 2.25.
Okay, that would be a surprise. Actually, if you're looking for a surprise, this looks like a good idea, this game, Leo.
No, I'm not looking for a surprise in this one in Copenhagen Dortmund. Not the biggest profile probably of this match day 3, but one that I could add to the column of probably entertaining games. Yes, despite the defeat on the Klassiker, the transformation under Niko Kovac for Dortmund is evident. Before that defeat, they were on one of the 2 longest unbeaten run in Europe with 14 games. And under Kovac, we are seeing something that we usually do not highlight with Dortmund, which is the defensive record. Only Bayern have conceded less than Dortmund in the Bundesliga. And it's good for them that 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀, after the scare during the international break, was fine to playing with Bayern. We are talking about here of a player who scored only Mbappe and Kane have scored more goals than 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀 in 2025. But I'm impressed with him, of course. But 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀, which is playing under Kovac the best football of his career, I would say. In transition, 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀 could hurt Copenhagen a lot. And in transition as well, the fullbacks for Dortmund have been impressive this term with young Couto and Svensson. Couto hopefully rediscovering the form he had in Girona in that unforgettable season 2 years ago. And Svensson, he's always present in both boxes. The evidence of the amount of runs he made is that the Bundesliga stats shows that he has covered more ground than anyone else in the league. Actually, Kovac said that Svensson reminds him of 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗀 for the amount of runs he makes. The 4-1 against Bilbao on Matchday 2 was as large in the scoreboard as in the performance. And for Copenhagen, was one to forget that defeat in Azerbaijan. After that, as Alain pointed, they lost 2 of their last 3 games in the Danish Superliga. They are now 5 points behind the top table. And in Baku, they offer little attacking threat. They were lucky to go down just for 1 goal at halftime. They look very complacent. So my take here is straightforward. Dortmund to win, odds of 2.
All right, the score 0-0, 1-1. 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀 sees a draw here, both teams to score or over 0.5 goals for Dortmund. Ayat is telling us this one is tricky one. Draw is possible. 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀 is also telling us. Another game is Newcastle Benfica. Here we have the chance to enjoy 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀. What a goal. He scored one of the goals of the season, I would say. Although Newcastle lost to Brighton, he's scoring in every single game in this Champions League. They destroyed the Royal Union Saint-Gilloise, but lost at home against Barcelona, although the team was not done yet when they faced Barcelona, and they played a good game, so I would place them as favorites. Not sure, Leo, if with these low odds, it's only 1.6 against Benfica with the special one. They won in the cup at the weekend before the break. They drew in the Clásico in Portugal with Porto, and they need the points in this Champions League because they lost to Karabakh and Chelsea.
Yeah, but I don't see it, to be honest, Edu. Benfica taking the 3 points from the north of England. For Newcastle, the tip for 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀 work proved to be good on Matchday 2 for him to score, and I would no doubt in using that again. Actually, the German to score against Benfica is at 2.5, guys. So, and he has scored 5 goals in 6 starts for his new club. It was great for the Magpies that it was an emphatic win against Union Saint-Gilloise on Matchday 2, because they also recovered ground in terms of goal difference to be on +3 now. Maybe for some to win against another team of the pot 4 is nothing extraordinary, but for Newcastle it was a significant milestone, because when you look at the fact that in the previous experience under Eddie Howe in Champions League in the 2023-2024, they failed to win any of their 3 away games. And when you look at the Newcastle history in the Champions League proper, in 12 games, they only won 2 away from home, though. So that 4-0 against Union Saint-Gilloise was very good for them. We spoke on the previous show of Livramento's injury and using Dan Burn as a left back. That allows Eddie Howe to use Fabian Schär, Bodman and Burn together. But the downside, and we saw it against Brighton, is that Burn provides almost nothing in attack. So that's why I believe once Lewis Hall is fully fit, he will start more often than Dan Burn as a left back. Against Union Saint-Gilloise, Anthony Elanga did great again on the right wing, as he's done it against Barca on Matchday 1. He was devastating with every single run he made, winning all duels. The problem with Elanga is the inconsistency. He does it one day against Union Saint-Gilloise, then the Premier League comes and he does not show again the same level. For Benfica, I think it was more important that 0-0 you mentioned against Porto after the defeat with Chelsea than the Chelsea defeat itself. I think the game in Stamford Bridge was completely overshadowed by Mourinho's return to the bridge. Against Chelsea, Mo opted for a 4-3-3. With Porto, he already moved to a 4-2-3-1. It's a team without power up front, Pavlidis is not good enough. They are missing 𝗀𝗲𝗄 big time in Benfica, I think. Favorite Newcastle here at 1.65. I expect goals, might take goals over 2.5, odds of 1.75, but I wouldn't mind combining as well both of those.
Alain, anything positive in these first weeks with the special one in Benfica?
But it's difficult to understand. I think the point in Oporto is a good point, but not in the content, because the team practically don't play. And but yes, in the defensive way, yes, we saw a good version of Benfica, with especially with the two midfield. Rios Barrenechea is really defensive, is really physical, it's difficult to enter there. And yes, the match plan was this one. In the last weekend against Chavez, we can't say nothing. Chavez, he was Taça de Portugal, the cup, and play in the League Two in Portugal, and yes, they needed to win this game. Two goal with Pavlidis, but it was not a brilliant game. We wait something more about the offensive phase, but yes, it's under construction. Newcastle is a wave team. When do you take the intensity of Newcastle, you can suffer, but not all the game. Is you must to know to manage to let pass this wave. And in my opinion, is where the team miss to grow, to pass a step, and to be more qualitative, is in the economy of this wave, because Newcastle is a really intense team. I love to watch the game of Newcastle, because you have a lot of rhythm. In Brighton, the second half was brilliant, but after the 1-1, that lets them, they lose that intensity, and they receive the 2-1. When in the second half, they dominate the game. And in Champions League, it's difficult to catch continuity when you have that type of characteristic. Now against Benfica probably go to Newcastle to try to catch a draw, to kill the rhythm of the game, and try to do something in counter attack. But I don't wait a lot of goals in this game. For that reason, I choose under 2.75 goals, odds 1.93.
Well, tema de anytime scorer is a good option, as Leo said. Also, David is going for Newcastle and over 1.5 goals. Ayan, Newcastle over 0.5 goals. Best bet, at least to score one goal. This should be a close one. Next one is PSV Napoli. Napoli suffered the second defeat in Serie A of the season against Torino. They had many chances. Well, not many, but many against Torino, at least to get a draw, especially De Bruyne. He missed some chances that we are not used to see him missing. And in the Champions League, they have 3 points. They lost to Man City. They beat Sporting. And this PSV is really difficult to read. Alain lost to Royal Union at home when we expected them to be tough. What do you think? Tough moments for Napoli's Conte probably in this season.
Yes, but Conte must to cut the bad statistic away, because in the last 3 games away, that he lose 3 games, only 1 goal score. Yes, in Torino, the first half, Napoli was really poor, especially in the first 25 minutes. Toro was better, and they deserved to score the first. Pedersen had occasion to score the second goal. And after, in the second half, we saw a reaction about Napoli, but when they found some block really strong, and known to occupy the space in the best way. Napoli have some difficulties without Lukaku, without Højlund, McTominay was out, and that need more solution. And against Toro, Lang scored at the last second, but he was offside. But yes, the content was not good. And Conte will be take this game in the most seriously way possible, because he has this game and after he received Inter at Napoli, and both games are so important because he can't permit itself to lose another game in Europe right now. He must to go to catch a victory away, and PSV is probably a good team to catch point, because we saw Union Saint-Gilloise, PSV, in my opinion, respect to the last season, is the team with less quality we saw right now. We don't saw a Peter Bosz team with a lot of solution, and that one is a problem for PSV, because in the last season we saw every time 2-3 player can make the clearly the difference. Right now, Perisic have 49 years old or 80 years old. How old he is, Perisic? Man is not a goal scorer. We saw that in Serie A. Saibari is more a winger than a second striker. Thiel is not a center striker. They don't replace De Jong. And in the middle, maybe the best line is the midfield, with Verman are playing a really high level since the beginning of the season. Mauro Junior too, but in front of Napoli, how many player of PSV can be in the 11th start of Napoli? Right now, for me, 0. And so that one Conte must to win. He must to have the ambition. He must to go to PSV to winning. Probably or is sure Højlund will be back for this game, and I choose Højlund score at 3.80.
It's a very important week for Napoli. They are facing Inter at the weekend. Leo, I guess you got bored a little bit this weekend watching Serie A. Not many goals, especially in an awful Saturday with only 2 goals in 4 games. And what do you think about this one? Concern about Napoli's form or not really?
The only smile with Serie A was Nico Pass' beautiful goal against Juventus. But well, this is a different show. We're going to talk about that later, about the Serie A. But yes, Napoli Saturday wasn't good. I agree with you. Yes, they had chances, but more than in the performances, I would say it is more with the results. But so far, Conte and Napoli are not handling very well the demands of playing every 3 days. At least in the Champions League, logic has struck with them. Defeated Manchester City, we could all have thought about that. Winning against Sporting Lisbon at home, perfect. Actually, Rasmus Højlund scoring a brace that night at the Diego Armando Maradona. De Bruyne providing probably so far the best assist of the season in the Champions League. There is a picture of him with 5 or 6 players behind him or chasing him from Sporting Lisbon. Højlund, yes, having a season to smile so far. Sam 𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗀 is becoming the McTominay of last season, arriving continuously to the box and scoring. The Scottish midfielder is still trying to find his rhythm. Some are saying that McTominay's slow start to the season is because Kevin De Bruyne arrival has pushed him to the left to leave the center channel to the Belgian player. Kevin De Bruyne is at least partly covering for McTominay in terms of goals contribution, with 3 goals and 3 assists so far for him. The one who hasn't delivered anything yet is Lorenzo Luca, and Conte needs him, needs the ex-Udinese to join the team in good terms. Conte explained that maybe what have changed with McTominay is that his status has changed, that he was the underdog last season and now he receives more attention because of what he has done. The good news going into Tuesday is that 𝗀𝗲𝗀𝗀, his best central defender, and Matteo Politano are gonna probably be back in Eindhoven. Of course, PSG debut at home was one to forget, but it's good that at least they save a point in Leverkusen on match day 2. Of the 6 games left for PSV, 3 are probably out of reach. Liverpool away, Atletico and Bayern. However, Olympiacos, Newcastle, and Napoli are games in which they could try of at least taking something and dream of a playoff spot. Napoli, the favorite here with good odds, absolutely. But my take combines the individual market and the goals market. Kevin De Bruyne over 0.5 shots on target, one at least, basically, combined with goals over 1.5. These two together, odds of 1.96.
Total over 1.5 goals. Here, PSV will score definitely. At home, David also sees both teams to score. Well, we have Napoli Inter at the weekend. Inter playing also on Tuesday in Belgium against Royal Union Saint-Gilloise. Inter to win is 1.7. They are getting serious in this season after the defeat against Juve. They've won all the games in Europe, beat Slavia, beat Ajax without conceding. It's true that they won at the weekend at the Olympico. They were lucky. I think they didn't deserve to win that game 1-0. They took the lead very early, but Sommer saved a couple of good chances for Roma, and Royal Union lost 0-4 in the last game against Newcastle, top of the Belgian league. But I guess we should expect Inter, Leo, to take the 3 points.
Yes, absolutely, Edu, and I agree that they were in second half. Roma did enough to take at least 1 point, but it was a very good win for Inter in the capital on the weekend. The numbers for Inter are impressive in the Champions League, at least when it comes to the group league stage. They have lost just one of the last 16 group stage league phase matches, and they kept 10 clean sheets in the last 11 games at this stage of the competition. Inter to keep a clean sheet on Tuesday is 2.63. Not bad. Inter to win 2-0 is even a bigger one at 3.25. They are in good form. Lautaro Martinez has also rediscovered some of what we know he can deliver. He scored 4 goals in the last 4 games in all competitions. Shibu took him out in the second half with Roma, thinking about this game against Union Saint-Gilloise. He scored a brace with Argentina, coming from the bench in the international break, although against an amateur side like the Puerto Rican one. For Il Toro to score anytime, anyway on Tuesday, the odds are good as well, 2.1 for him. And Union Saint-Gilloise, the defeat with Newcastle was their first one at home in the last 8 games in UEFA competitions, but they were never in the game. Nick Pope, I can't remember being called, to be honest, to act more than twice all game, and neither of those were very big chances for Union Saint-Gilloise. They also lost against Club Brugge, which was the first defeat in the Belgian Pro League, but they're still top of the table anyway. We should have goals here, I believe. Only 2 games of Union Saint-Gilloise in their previous 38 matches in UEFA competitions have finished goalless. So my take here, Inter halftime, full-time market, odds of 2.63. But remember that the clean sheet or Inter winning 2-0 are also good one. But Inter halftime, full-time market for me.
Inter is the clear favorite. Inter to win 2-0. Someone sees a surprise here as a draw. Alain, have you changed your minds? You mentioned Napoli are clear favorites for Serie A. Perhaps we see a close title fight also with Inter recovered. You think 𝗀𝗵𝗄 is doing a good job?
Yes, 𝗀𝗵 is working well, but right now we wait some most difficult game. I think 𝗀𝗵𝗄 was really found the ability to catch points against team where Inter is really better. except Roma. But in the Roma we saw Inter concede a lot. Roma's big problem with the in front of the goal. Roma since the beginning of the season don't appear at a team with Gasperini in the bench, because Roma is able to win 1-0, but especially in Olympico that lose 3 games 1-0. And they're great. The team creates is the worst. The good things is the team creates, but they don't have the striker to have best finalization. Now Inter has really expert team. In my opinion, Napoli have a better squad with more deepness. Now against Union Saint-Gilloise is really favorite, because Union Saint-Gilloise changed his manager. His manager thing in Monaco during the break and let the team like that, and that one can be affect the team. We don't saw some problem against 𝗀𝗵𝗄𝗏 in the Belgium league last weekend, but 𝗀𝗏𝗏 is a test, a serious test for to understand the new manager. No, and Union Saint-Gilloise, when they're playing in Champions, they don't play at home. They're playing in the field of Anderlecht, and that one affect the team. We saw that, and we understand that against Newcastle. Yes, Inter for me is really favorite, and I choose Inter winning odds 1.75.
Inter must win this game. Next one, and the last one, is Villarreal Man City. Good game, this one, and it's not easy for Man City, I think. Going to La Cerámica, Villarreal drew with Juventus, lost to Spurs. Perhaps they deserve a point, but in La Liga they are doing a good job. They drew with Betis when they were leading 2-0, and only 2 defeats this season, away against Atletico and Real Madrid. But this game, or this Man City, is all about Haaland. He is the best striker, together with Mbappe probably, in the world. The run is impressive of the Norwegian striker, so I guess Alain, we should back Haaland to score, at least for this game, but still a lot of issues in the midfield, I would say, for Man City. They are not playing as good as they used to.
Yes, and we saw in Monaco in Europe there have some difficulties, because Monaco is really in a bad moment. They get kick out the manager, and the team is not the best version of Monaco, but City was not able to win in Monaco. Yes, Marcelino normally prepare really well that type of game. It's true, Villarreal in the last 3 games they don't won any match. 2 draw against Juventus, against Betis, and losing against Real Madrid. My question is, what happened with the defensive line? Because they received a lot of goals in the last 3 games. In maybe match with the level is higher than we saw since the beginning of the season. City away, I don't have, since the beginning of the season, the element to say City is a dominant team, because in 5 games away, 1 lose, 2 draw, and only 2 winning in Huddersfield and in Brentford, and is not the biggest reference for Guardiola. The team changed a lot of things, but yes, I don't feel the difference between Villarreal and City like the bookmaker choose, and for that reason I choose the double chance 1x odds 2.16.
It's not yet clicking, Leo, this Man City. As I said, they are winning. They are close to Arsenal. It's not an easy start of the season. Also, a lot of new players. Rodri is still far from his level when he was fit. But it's all about Haaland, of course, in this Man City. You are muted, Leo. No. What is happening? The cable.
Oh, there you go. Can you hear me now? There you go. I was saying that to start from the most important one, guys, which is Haaland to score anytime, 172. It's almost a safe bet, Haaland to score.
Yeah.
He scored 23 goals in 13 games for club and country this season. On Saturday, a brace in the second half that helped Manchester City defeating Everton. He scored for the 6th consecutive Premier League game. So for sure, he's now has imbued Jamie Vardy's 2015-2016 record of scoring in 11 consecutive games. City are now in another spell without Rodri, who was present against Monaco in that 2-2 on Matchday 2. That night, City, I think they should have finished the game in the first half. Nico Gonzalez is a galaxy away from Rodri, but his last performances against Brentford before the break and with Everton on Saturday, I think they were good. The difference for City this season is that even if they meant to suffer without Rodri, they have Donnarumma now to save them. With Everton, he did great in a couple of occasions. Now Guardiola is having Ryan Cherki back. Sabinho have started to get more minutes as well. Villarreal, yes, dropping 2 points on Saturday on added time against Betis. Same scoreline that they had against Juventus at home on Matchday 2. Although that night it was Villarreal, the one rescuing a point with Renato Veiga striking in the 90th minute. But the fact that they are coping with football every 3 days and still being third in La Liga this season is something to ponder for them. But still, I believe City is the favorite here to take the 3 points. Again, on this Tuesday night, we have favorites with very good odds. So my takes are 2. I will take any of those. Manchester City to win, 1.75, or Haaland to score anytime. Either way is good for me, or you guys could make, if you want, a mini ACCA, those who want to take the odds higher with City to win and Haaland to score anytime.
Well, Villarreal to score, Pathfinder, both teams to score. I am, Man City are not keeping a clean sheet. SOS archives under 2.5 goals. Hillary City and over 1.5 goals. But of course, Haaland, anytime scorer, should be a bet that we all have in our minds. This is it for the games we have on Tuesday in the Champions League. Now is your chance to win money with Oddspedia and participate for free. Remember, for free, and we like free things in our tipster competitions. And also you have rivals available for you where you can create your own tipster league and challenge your friends. There you go. Let's go with your safe bets, Leo.
Barcelona, Olympiacos, goals over 2.5, odds of 1.42.
Alain?
Bayer Leverkusen PSG over 2.25 goals, odds 1.37.
Hopefully we see more goals in this Champions League than in Serie A. Leo, your ACCA?
Bayer Leverkusen PSG, goals over 2.5. Inter to win, Manchester City to win. This 3 leaves me with an ACCA of 4.8.
Alain, your ACCA?
Inter winning, PSV Napoli both teams to score, Bayer Leverkusen PSG over 3.25 goals, odds 5.72.
High odds. Well, there you go, guys. We are gonna have another video of the Champions League in the channel with the Wednesday games with Ronan and Tom. Actually, it's gonna be also a live video, so you can tune it in a couple of hours. In the meantime, enjoy and see you very soon. Leo, Alain, ciao.
Ciao, guys.